Hello, my friends. Let's practice some more phrasal verbs. Today, we will start with the phrasal verb dive in. Dive in is the present tense, and dove in is the past tense. Now, maybe you are thinking, Joanna, dive means in the water. And often the verb dive does mean to dive into a swimming pool or dive into the ocean. But the meaning of this phrasal verb actually has nothing to do with water. Let's look at an example. Let's dive into this project on Monday. My friends, if you are starting a project, or even if you are starting a meal like dinner, you can use dive in. Dive in means to start something. And usually this is done with enthusiasm. That means you are excited to do it. So let's dive into this project on Monday means let's start this project on Monday. And we are usually excited about it. The next phrasal verb that we will practice today is wrap up. Wrap up is the present tense. Wrapped up is the past tense. And my friends, for pronunciation, please notice if you have a W next to an R in English, the W is usually silent. So this word sounds like it has an R in the front. Wrap up and wrapped up. So the W is completely silent. Let's look at the two definitions of wrap up. First, we wrapped up the gifts for her birthday tomorrow. My friends, all of us have wrapped up gifts before. If you wrap up something, usually a thing, but it can even be a person, it means that you are putting material around someone or something. The most common use of this phrasal verb is for gifts or a purchase. So, for example, wrap up gifts. You are putting paper, that material around something. Or, for example, if I go buy meat, often the butcher will wrap up the meat in plastic and paper. We can also use it to mean a lot of clothes. So here in Montana, in the winter, we must wrap ourselves up before we go outside. This is one meaning of wrap up. There is also a different meaning that has a little bit the opposite meaning of dive in. Let's look at that meaning. Please start to wrap up your conversation. Sometimes in English class, I say this, please start to wrap up your conversation. And of course, I do not mean cover your conversation in material. We cannot wrap up our conversation in that way. So if someone is talking about wrapping up a conversation or a project or a discussion or a meeting or a class, wrap up means to finish or complete, to conclude the conversation or the meeting or the class. So in this context, please start to wrap up your conversation means please start to finish your conversation so we can move on to the next topic. My friends, as always, let me know if you have any questions. Remember, practice, practice, and never give up.